Celtics could seal it today. Player on the radar, the package and the price. Explained. I start today's video with a question that seems simple, but which, if you stop to think about it, carries enormous weight. Is there a price for a miracle? Or does the hunger for another banner in Boston simply have no etiquette? Because honestly, that's what seems to be on the table right now. And when I say on the table, I'm not talking about a loose rumor or just any tweet. I'm talking about the kind of decision that happens in a closed room. Cold light, phone ringing, agent insisting, open spreadsheet, pressure from the top, and an entire city breathing the same anxiety. It's a choice that doesn't ask permission for logic, doesn't respect the script, and doesn't fit exactly into what was planned. If you follow the Celtics Talk Show, you know that we don't just live off the score. We live by what's behind the scoreboard. And what lies behind now is a turning point. The exchange could happen today. Today. This little word has absurd power because it changes everything. Today is not in the future. Today is not let's see. Today it's this could explode at any moment. And if you really want to understand why this topic is so hot, why there are people talking about bombs, why there are people scared and people excited at the same time, stay with me until the end. I'm going to give you the context, the dilemma, what's really at stake, and mainly what you need to observe in the coming weeks to understand which path the Celtics will choose. Now, before I get into the heart of this, I'm going to ask you a quick favor. For real, like someone talking eye to eye with a friend who follows the team together. If you enjoy this type of deeper content, without shouting, without empty guesswork, but with reading the scenario and having the courage to say what needs to be said, sign up for the Celtics Talk Show now. We are chasing a goal that makes a real difference, 1,000 subscribers. And it's not just a pretty number. Hitting 1,000 subscribers helps the channel to grow a lot. It makes YouTube recommend it more. It opens doors. It gives us breath to cover more games, more behind the scenes, more rumors frequently, and with quality. It's a click for you, but for us, it's a turning point. So subscribe, activate the bell, and leave a like, because a like is the quickest sign of send this to more people. Did it close? Now let's get down to business. What makes this situation so intense is that it happens at a time when the Celtics, in practice, are disobeying what everyone thought was going to happen. If we went back a few months, a lot of people would look at this year with that energy of, okay, breathe. It's transition. Let's be patient. Let's adjust the house. Those expectations of a bridge season, of arranging the route, arranging finances, reorganizing parts, and aiming for the next chapter. But the ball went up. The calendar started to move, and the Celtics decided to do something else. He decided to compete. He decided to be indigestible. They decided to take the court as a team that doesn't just want to participate. And then, my friend, this is where the story catches fire. Because when a team surprises, it doesn't just change the score. It changes the environment. It changes confidence. He changes the way the locker room looks at itself. It changes the posture of whoever you are going to face, and mainly, it changes the weight of the board's decisions. What would be an obvious choice in a lukewarm season becomes a dangerous choice in a lively season. It's no longer just, let's cut spending. It becomes, if I move, I might break something that has finally started to work. And there's a name that we can't get around in this conversation. Jaylen Brown. What Brown has done is not simply play well. It's the kind of season that changes bar debate to serious debate. It's leadership without a rehearsed speech. It's that message given on the court without needing to say it nicely. This group didn't come here just to fulfill schedules and wait for the future. When a player gives you that kind of season, he pulls the team along. He pulls the crowd. It pulls the narrative. And suddenly, what seemed like patience turns into what if. And that what if is exactly where the Celtics are right now. But, on the other side, there is the world that does not appear in the highlight. There is the cold of the spreadsheet. There is the weight of the salary bill. There is the scenario of new league rules, punishments, limitations, restrictions that change the way teams build squads. There is a real fear of making an emotional move today and paying dearly tomorrow. And that's where the division that I know is happening even among those of you who are watching right now arises. There are people who look at the finances and say, if we don't act right now, the bill will come. And there are people who look at the court and answer, but what if the chance is now? What if the tomorrow we plan never comes exactly the way we imagine? This division is not superficial. She is the picture of the Celtics moment. Because this isn't just any franchise. This is Boston. It's a shirt heavy. It's a story that charges. It's a city that changes its mood when it smells grandeur. And when Boston feels like it's time to fight, the conversation changes. The game changes. The energy changes. You see it at TD Garden. You see it in the way the media looks at it. You see it in how a simple, normal game becomes a decision thermometer. And then an element comes in that makes everything more dramatic. The possibility of Jayson Tatum re-entering the picture at some point. I'm not here to sell you fantasy, nor to promise you a perfect script. But I need to be honest with you. If the Celtics are already competitive at this level, if the team is already creating an identity, and at some point you reintroduce a player of Tatum's caliber, that changes the team's ceiling. Change. What was a good story became, be careful with this team. And when this ceiling rises, Brad Stevens' decision is no longer just an administrative one. It becomes a public statement. It becomes a message for the entire league. And this is the center of the video, so pay attention. It's not just about exchange, it's about intention. It's about who you want to be when the opportunity appears without warning. In many years, logic tells the team to lighten up, sell, make room, reduce financial impact. In many years, saving a few million is considered a correct decision. But there is a point at which savings start to cost more than they save. And this point arises when the team proves on the court that it is bigger than the label they stuck on it. Now, let's talk about the type of conversation that starts to appear when the board considers lightening the payroll, expiring contracts, useful pieces, people who really help with the team's functioning. In theory, changing a contract that is about to expire seems simple. You exchange, you receive choice, you receive flexibility, you make space and close the account. On the spreadsheet, it actually looks pretty. But basketball is not a spreadsheet. And I want you to think with me calmly. When you take away a piece that spaces the court, that punishes help, that forces the defense to respect, you are not taking away a name. You're messing with the court map. You are changing the way the opponent scores. You are closing corridors for your best players to attack. This, in playoffs, is fatal. And here comes the point that many people ignore. Chemistry cannot be bought on the market. You build. And when you start to actually build, dismantling to save money becomes a huge risk. Because the locker room understands. The locker room feels it. And the most dangerous thing is that the crack sometimes doesn't appear the next day. She appears in the big game. It appears at the moment when the ball weighs, when the series tightens, when you need to trust each other. Then you remember the message that was given back there, even without words. We didn't buy into the fight together. And I know this is heavy, but it's real. Jaylen Brown is delivering a season of weight, of responsibility, of leadership. And when a guy does that, he naturally expects the franchise to respond in kind. It's not right. It's not blackmail. It's human nature. It's the logic of sport. You put everything on the court. You want to feel that the team is behind you. And if the franchise, at the height of this moment, decides to sell to ease the balance sheet, what message will be left? You don't even need to put it in a sentence. The environment reads itself. Now, let me hold you here for a minute longer because I want you to mentally answer me one question that defines everything. Do you believe that these Celtics are a pretty story that will cool down when reality hits? Or do you believe that it is a giant that was sleeping and started to wake up? Because your answer changes everything. Change how you see each victory. Change how you read each rumor. It changes how you interpret every decision, every interview, every detail until the deadline. And since I said deadline, I will reinforce one important thing. From the moment this window approaches, the news becomes a minefield. Every day seems like there's something. Every day someone listened. Every day a possibility arises. So if you want to follow this with analysis, context, and no empty sensationalism, subscribe to the Celtics Talk Show now. I'm serious. The goal of 1,000 subscribers helps a lot. It really helps. It makes YouTube deliver this content to more fans, strengthens the project, and gives us the chance to cover each step consistently. Subscribe, activate the bell, and leave a like. Then you don't lose anything. Coming back. If Boston decides to keep the core and accept the cost, the message is clear. We believe. It's Boston saying the transition period may be over before it truly begins. And this changes the team's behavior. Player feels when the franchise buys the fight. The bank's energy changes. The effort in the final minutes changes. The coach's confidence changes. You start to play with a different internal certainty because you know that the club is not thinking about taking away at the first turmoil. But I won't romanticize. There is another side. If the board pays this price, it also raises the billing rule. There is no longer a shield. There is no longer we are restructuring. You put your chips on the table. You assume the risk. You expose yourself. And that scares a lot of people because it's more comfortable to be cautious. But this is also what separates franchises that participate from franchises that leave a mark. And you know what's craziest? Even games that would be just another are starting to become showcases. A game against a weaker team becomes a barometer of seriousness. A good sequence becomes an argument against any idea of dismantling. A defeat, on the other hand, becomes ammunition for those who advocate caution. The environment is tense all the time. It's the type of scenario in which each game weighs twice. It weighs on the table and it weighs on the mind of whoever decides. Now look at the future with me, directly. If the Celtics maintain their base, if the team continues with this identity, and if the squad is strengthened with the return of stars at the right time, how many teams in the East really want to see Boston in a long series? Long series is where identity becomes a weapon. Long series is where a united team grows. Long series is where detail decides, and a Celtics with 2 elite wings, a bench that understands its role, and a locker room that has gone through adversity becomes a fitting nightmare. On the other hand, if Boston decides to lighten up and move the wrong pieces at the wrong time, the risk is real. Not because the team becomes bad out of nowhere, but because the sport is sensitive. A change that seems small can break the balance. You can change rotations. It can take away confidence. It can transform a group that was meeting into a group that is looking for each other again. That's why I don't see this decision as simple. She is a crossroads between finance and glory. And most of the time, calculation wins. But there are seasons that seem like exceptions. Seasons that start crooked and threaten to end historic. And if there is a time to evaluate courage, this is it. So I'm going to do an exercise with you, very direct, as if we were talking on the doorstep after the game. If you were Brad Stevens right now, what would you do? Do you hold the line and bet on what's happening? Do you accept paying the price because you smell a chance? Or do you prioritize the next chapter and avoid punishment even if the team surprises? And I don't want an automatic response. I want you to think about the human impact. In the locker room. In the message. In the way the league starts to look at Boston. Because this echoes for years, defines culture, defines reputation. It even defines how players and agents see the Celtics when it comes time to choose their destination. My reading, in the most honest way possible, is the following. When a team exceeds expectations like this, when there is real leadership on the court, and when the identity begins to become clear, often the most aggressive move is not to move. It's about resisting the temptation to dismantle. It's maintaining. It's saying, we are here. Aggressiveness is not always about changing. Sometimes aggressiveness is supporting what you've built and trusting that it can grow. I understand those who advocate prudence because the rules are tough and money rules. But fans don't get excited about spreadsheets. Fan vibrates with banner, and Boston lives off banners. Now, I want you with me until the end, because I'm going to give you 3 practical signs of what to watch for in the coming weeks to understand which path the Celtics will choose. And before that, quickly, if you've made it this far, you're already part of the community. So help us reach 1,000 subscribers. This really helps the channel a lot. Hitting this goal changes the reach, changes the recommendation, changes the frequency that we can produce. Sign up now, activate the bell, leave a like, and continue with the video. Let's go together. First sign. Language. It's not just what they say in interviews, but what appears in small decisions. Minutes, rotation. Who is gaining confidence? Who is being tested in big situations? This delivers intent. Second sign. The direction of the rumors. When the market starts repeating the same names, when the news insists on the same route, there is usually smoke. And where there's smoke, sometimes there's fire. Third sign, posture on the court. Basketball delivers truth. If the team plays like it believes, you can see it in the rebounding contest, in the transition defense, in the extra ball, in the body that goes on the floor. If the team plays like someone who is just holding the boat, this also appears in detail. And here I close with the question that I want to keep echoing in your head after this video. Do you want a prudent Celtics or a courageous Celtics? And I'm not saying that prudence is cowardice. Prudence can be intelligence. But courage sometimes is seeing a window that no one expected. It's betting when the scenario wasn't planned, but reality invited you. Now I want your opinion in the comments because I will read it and I will respond. Would you keep the squad and pay the price for trying to fight loudly, or would you make moves to alleviate and prepare for the future? And more. For you, are these pieces that enter the market conversation luxury, or are they gears that support the team in a large series? I want to see you take a stand, because this is the type of debate that separates those who watch it from those who live it. And before you leave, I will repeat in all sincerity, leave a like now. This pushes the video to more Celtics fans. Subscribe to the Celtics Talk Show and activate the bell. We're in the final stretch of reaching 1,000 subscribers, and this helps a lot, real help. This is what gives us the strength to cover every rumor, every game, every movement with more presence and more quality. One click for you, one giant step for us. And it stays in the video, because from now on, every day can become news. Every game can become an argument. Every rumor can stir the environment. And if this team is writing a story outside the script, we will be here to tell it chapter by chapter, with truth and with that pressure in the air that only Boston knows. Because what is happening now is not another phase. It's an identity test. It's the franchise looking in the mirror and deciding whether to treat this chance as a beautiful accident or as a call to war. And if there's a time when fans make a difference even off the court, it's now. I'll see you in the next video. But first, comment, like, subscribe, and activate the bell. Let's hit that 1,000 together. And now I'm going to close the way this moment in Boston deserves, with tension in the air and with a racing heart. Because what is happening here is not just another rumor. It is not just a deadline movement. It is not just a behind-the-scenes conversation to fill the headlines. This is an identity test. It's the Celtics facing their own reflection and deciding, without an audience and without a filter, whether this season will be treated as a beautiful accident or as a clear warning that the team is ready to bite back. From now on, every victory counts double. It counts on the table, and it counts in the mind of the person making the decision. Each game is a message. Each rotation is a clue. Every rumor is a spark trying to set the locker room on fire. And it's at these times that teams fail or become legends. Because when the window appears, it doesn't wait for you to calmly organize the house. She knocks on the door and asks, "Are you going or not?" And Boston is not a city of almost. Boston is a banner city. So I want to hear from you. Do you pay the price of the dream or protect the spreadsheet? Do you keep what's working and let the team fight, or do you change it now and accept the risk of dismantling that chemistry the moment it's finally born? Write your decision and why in the comments below. I will read it, I will respond, and I want to see the fans thinking together, as a community, as people who truly experience the Celtics. And before you leave, do this for us now. Leave a like, subscribe to the Celtics Talk Show, and activate the bell. We are in the final stretch of the goal of 1,000 subscribers, and this helps the channel a lot. A lot. Reaching this goal changes our reach, makes YouTube recommend it more, strengthens the project, and gives us the momentum we need to cover everything more frequently, with more quality and more presence, the way the fans deserve. It's a simple click for you, but for us, it's a game changer. And be careful, the video doesn't end here. I left our playlist Celtics Analysis in the pinned comment. Click on it now and stay with me, because that's where I delve deeper into everything. Context, game reading, fittings, board decisions, what's behind each rumor, and what could really change the course of the season. If you want to be one step ahead, if you want to understand the Celtics beyond the headline, this playlist is the way to go. Go to the pinned comment, open Celtics Analyses, and continue watching now, because from here, any day can become history. And if the Celtics really are about to make some noise, we'll be here, together, to feel each chapter before the rest of the world. Let's do it.